Welcome to a new video from Money Fellas. In this video we take you into how Avatar: The Way of Water hits $1 billion at the global box office, becoming the 6th fastest movie to hit that mark. Never bet against James Cameron, they said. And while Avatar: The Way of Water got off to somewhat of a slow box office start, or at least it fell under some of the early projections which made pundits quickly skeptical of its chances, the Cameron maxim seems to be coming true. After just 14 days in theaters, making money week after week. Right now, the film is the third highest grossing film of the pandemic era, having just surpassed Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and it will soon take over Jurassic World: Dominion for the second position. But its chances are looking good overall. Adjusted projections based on its legs and hold at the box office are circling around $1.6 billion to $1.9 billion. Depending on how it keeps performing worldwide. Cameron's The Way of Water has also crossed the $300 million mark at the domestic box office, and given it's just started, it's eyeing a domestic run that could hit around $500 million or more. If The Way of Water can somehow hit $2 billion, that'll be the milestone that Cameron, Disney, and everyone wants. But hitting $1.90 billion-ish and surpassing Spider-Man: No Way Home, currently the title holder of the highest grossing film of the pandemic era, $1.91 billion, would also be a big boon to the franchise. If some of this sounds underwhelming, well, look at those Spider-Man numbers. The reality is the box office has changed post-pandemic and may never reach those same heights again. Avatar: The Way of Water was never going to hit the $2.7 billion gross of the original, which is now $2.9 billion thanks to re-releases. Speaking of re-releases, here's some good Way of Water context which also explains why the film is maybe underperforming a little right now, at least compared to the first film. The original Avatar grossed $57 million in China in its 2021 re-release and another $75 million in its 2022 global re-release. Given Avatar grossed $202 million in China back in 2009, the thinking was the huge re-release figures pointed to a figure that could grow much bigger. So, while Avatar: The Way of Water has grossed $100 million in China so far, and yes, it is playing on 89,000 screens currently in the country, it only made $3.7 million on Tuesday versus the $32 million it made in North America on Monday, 4,202 screens in the US approximately, which is a shocking disparity. Will The Way of Water earn $200 million in China like the first film? It feels doubtful at the moment, given those figures, but it maybe reminds us that under optimal conditions, Cameron's film could have been an even bigger behemoth in China than the original film, which certainly could have made a big difference, not helping? Vaccination rates in China are insanely low, some 3.4 million versus its 1.4 billion population. Cameron has said his Avatar sequel will need to hit $2 billion worldwide to break even, which feels like a big exaggeration, but even if it doesn't, one shouldn't be too worried. Avatar 3, scheduled for December 20, 2024, has already been shot and just needs to do its VFX work. Cameron also shot the first act of Avatar 4, but if they're going to go ahead with finishing Avatar 4 and making Avatar 5, they're going to need to make those decisions soon. Avatar 4 is due December 18, 2026, and Cameron recently said on the Smartless podcast that an Avatar movie generally needs 2 years for VFX completion and about a year to shoot. If they want to finish the 3 quarters left of Avatar 4, they'll likely need to start sometime next year. Will Disney be prepared to make that decision so quickly? Will they shoot 4 and 5 simultaneously as they did 2, 3, and 1 act of Part 4? Stay tuned. So this was our today's video. I hope you all like this video. Let us know in the comments.